So it's been a while since we've covered Joe Rogan. I did just have a screed to chat about how I haven't been covering him because he has been known to do copyright takedowns, which really sucks because he is like the most prominent podcaster on the planet, and he has a lot of opinions that I don't agree with. So, you know, it's just shitty that he would take that down. We're going to be covering this at some point too. It's very funny. It's just shitty that he would take it down because, you know, it's I think that people should be allowed to critique him. So we're going to try. Hopefully it goes well. If not, I'll have to stop the segment and you won't be seeing this on YouTube. But let's give it a shot. So what happened was Joe Rogan brings Steve-O on to defend trans people. Or I guess, I don't know if it was to defend trans people, but this is the topic that came up. So we're going to watch this and then this one. I don't know which order they take place in the show, but this should be interesting because I want to see what Steve-O has to say about trans people.
Do you know who's killed more people than ICE this year? Trans shooters. Do you know the majority of these high school shootings have been transgender people?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. Wasn't there like one trans shooter? There was just one this year, right? I think that's just a flat out lie. Something, of course, that Joe Rogan is never known to do, but you know.
This transgender person, like, hey, can I run something by you? And I spoke with them. They described to me a level of oppression that genuinely broke my heart. They said, hey, let me tell you, like, I am not allowed to use the bathroom at my own place of work. We've got like politics.
That's not true. They're just not allowed to use the bathroom. It doesn't align with their biological sex.
Okay.
But you got to realize, they're not all, listen.
Let me hear that one more time.
They're just not allowed to use the bathroom. It doesn't align with their biological sex.
Okay, Joe, so how do we enforce that? Like, meaningfully, how do we go about, like, I always ask this question, and you should too. Okay, trans women can't use the women's restroom. So how do we enforce that? What are we looking for, right? That argument defeats them every time, because usually what the answer ends up being is, well, people should, if you're talking to a TERF, certainly, well, people should reinforce it themselves. You know, like, obviously we can't always tell, but like, people should just be able to self-police. Okay, then nothing changes. Like, nothing changes, right? If people are self-policing. But that's not what they do. They go up and they harass people who are just trying to use the bathroom. So they don't self-police, they guess. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what somebody's packing. You have no idea until you check. So the only way to do that is with a genital inspection. That's it. And it may not be a genital inspection on the spot, mind you. It could be checking your birth certificate. That too is a genital inspection. You know why? How did that M or F get there on your birth certificate or driver's license or whatever else? How did it get there? The doctors did a genital inspection on you when you were first born. So, I mean, it's just normal as long as we do it on newborn babies and then pull it up later in life to determine what public facilities they're allowed to use. Sounds good.
Okay.
But you got to realize, they're not all, listen.
Okay, sorry, I didn't finish that screed. The other thing that it does, or the other response that you'll get, I should say, is, well, we can always tell, and so, like, we're going to just police it ourselves, right? So, like, or we'll call the police on you, and then the police will check your ID. And so they're just admitting it in that point. They want mandatory ID checks. They want genital inspections. Anyway.
I genuinely think there's people that feel like they are in the wrong.
Also, Joe Rogan has been like caught red-handed with like trans porn in his history. I'm pretty sure in his search history. Correct me if I'm wrong. I am pretty sure that that is a true thing that happened.
Biological sex.
Sure.
Or he's talked about it or something.
But there's also people that are perverts, and they have a thing called autogynephilia. And what that is they
just
get
doesn't
turned
exist.
on by
It doesn't
pretending
exist.
to be a woman. They get excited.
Okay, the criteria for autogynephilia, I have news for you guys. Cis women meet them at a rate of 90%. 90% of all cis women that you test for autogynephilia, the way that you would test a trans woman, will have it. 9 out of 10 women are autogynephilic. It kind of sounds like it just doesn't matter.
By it. And they want to be around women. And they're creeps. And so you give them a Willy Wonka golden ticket to go into the women's locker room and the women's bathroom and stare at women and pretend you're a woman when you're just a crazy man and you're actually into women.
Okay.
That's real too, man.
I don't doubt that that's real, and I know that it's a
No, come on. That's such a sell, bro. Don't say that that's real. Like, if you're going to be a creep, you're going to be a creep either way. It's just not a like who actually takes the time to like dress themselves up such that they look convincing enough as a woman, right? Some dude, right, like me, takes the time to do that somehow. And then so what? They can just creep on women in the locker room? That's so much extra work. Nobody does that.
Super complex, nuanced thing. And
but here's what's not complex. What is your chromosomes?
Right.
Okay? This is
Swire syndrome. I mean, this one's too easy. Even Down syndrome, they have 47 chromosomes. Does that make them not human? Like, this is silly. Silly argument.
same thing for competing. Right. All these mental gymnastics that seemingly intelligent people do to justify biological males competing with females.
Oh, I'm with the
male.
It's the same thing.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Right.
And especially as speaking as a man who has daughters, like there are creeps. And if you give
okay, here's the thing that I don't get, and nobody's been able to answer this for me. Okay, so like you have daughters, right? And then like there's this scenario where it's like, I've been asked this question so many times. Well, what if a trans woman went into the bathroom with your daughter, right? And so the implication there is, right, that this person is somebody who potentially has a higher likelihood of wanting to take advantage of my daughter while in the bathroom with her, right? Like my underage daughter. It's just transphobia, ultimately. But let's run with it for a second. Let's just say that is the case, that this person wants to diddle children. Okay, so then they should go into the restroom with my underage son, right? That's better. That's much better. Oh, see, problem solved. Like, as long as they're in there with my underage son, it's no biggie. You know, I don't know how that works in their head. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't understand. I really don't. But that's their logic, is that it's fine as long as the underage child is actually a boy.
A creep. And I'm not
or
saying
born with
all
a penis,
trans people
I
are
guess.
creeps,
right.
But a lot of these people that are in trouble for going into women's bathrooms dressed as a woman with a beard and a heart on.
I haven't heard of these people.
Just that. They're creeps.
Right, okay.
They're
who are in
crazy
trouble.
men. And these crazy...
You know who gets in trouble? Transphobes who try to confront people they think are trans, and then they get caught red-handed on doing it on camera. It's on plain display how insane they are, because they usually just end up getting a cis person who's not conforming, which is so funny to me, because it's like a butch lesbian. Like, I'm sorry, the overwhelming majority of trans women are not going for a butch lesbian aesthetic. I'm sure there are some, okay? But like most of them are going for like literally the most traditional look for a woman you can get in America.
Men, their entire life, they would get beaten up for that. And now all of a sudden, they have to be accepted. So you've got two things going on at the same time.
For sure.
You've got people with gender dysphoria that genuinely wish they were a woman or genuinely wish they were a man. And by the way, it's men that are the problem. No one gives a fuck about trans men going into the men's bathroom. Come on in. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares?
Why not? That's called a double standard, man. You just think that, like, if you're born with a penis, you're inherently a more dangerous person. That's kind of a you issue, dude. I don't consider myself dangerous. The people in my life don't consider me dangerous. At least not in that way. You know, some people consider me politically dangerous, but I would disagree with them. But certainly not in that way. I've never been accused of that, except for by conservatives, like, who think that like trans stuff is pedophilia or something. But I digress. Yeah, I've just never been accused of that, and I don't think that men are inherently dangerous because I'm a man, and I don't think that I'm inherently dangerous, or born with a penis, I should say.
Gonna shit next to you, or what is she gonna do? She's gonna pee out of a funnel. What is she gonna do?
It's just man hatred.
Like, no one's gonna get hurt. No one's gonna get hurt. This is the problem. When you allow perverts to have this hall
you're
pass
assuming they're perverts,
to go into
though.
women's
You have no
locker rooms and
evidence.
bathrooms.
Yeah.
So you can't say you're not allowed to use the bathroom where you work. That's not true.
First time seeing you live, but I don't think I can stay listening to Joe's Bull. Then what do you... Wait, just Joe then? Like, this is the kind of content that I always cover. I'm just saying, like, you can go if you want, but this is the kind of content I always cover.
You're just not allowed to use the women's room where other women are in there because you're not a woman. And I know you wish you were a woman.
By
or
what metric?
Going on,
okay.
But you're not.
You
By
make
what
a
metric?
Very, very good point.
If you're a woman, talk to
No, he doesn't. Can he shut up for a second? I want to hear what Steve-O has to say.
most women about this. And it's... Unless they're insanely captured by this woke
Steve-O's gotta cut him
ideology where
off.
they can't see reality and the fact that perverts are still a real fucking thing.
Yeah.
And this loophole You've given loopholes. Like, there's men in prison. I think it's like 47 biological males in California are housed in women's prisons. Some of them are sex offenders.
You are far more likely to get abused in a men's prison as a trans woman than a trans woman is to abuse cis women in a women's prison. That is just the fact of them, like by magnitudes. And they know that. They just don't care. And they'll tell you to your face they don't care. Oh, well, he's a man. He deserves it. Like, that's the logic. It's disgusting. It's abhorrent. I told you, it's misandry. He's a man. I mean, think about how normalized jail rape jokes are for men specifically. You know, like, it's kind of wild when you really break it down and start to think about it. My mom is a woman and wouldn't mind sharing her spaces with trans women. They're women too. Most women feel that way, according to polls. Most women do not give a shit. I've watched as, like, a woman enters the bathroom, the men's bathroom. I guess, like, he said, oh, I don't care if trans men do it. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes it's a public space. It's a public space. It's a public restroom. Okay. It is there for people who wants to enter a space that is labeled woman. Okay. That's who it's there for. Anybody who wants to enter a space where women are. Okay. Where women are, like, are typically found. Anybody has that right. As long as I'm not committing a crime of any sort, you know, I can enter the women's bathroom and not be arrested. Men have to do that all the time. Maybe the men's restroom is out. Or maybe you have your 1-year-old son with you, or your daughter, for instance, and you have to change your diaper, right? And there's no changing room there's no changing table in the men's bathroom. That's been known to happen. I just don't think that it's that big of a problem. Like, if there's a creep in the bathroom, get the creep out, regardless of who they are, or, like, what their gender identity is. We're looking for creeps. That's all.
Some of them in Canada. There's a guy in Canada that they had to pay for his boob job while he was in jail for being a sex offender, and they put him in a women's prison. Yeah.
I'm not arguing with
there's men who have pretended to be women.
Okay, this is kind of a good move by Steve-O. He's just, like, laughing at how ridiculous it is because he's trying so hard to be nice. But, like, I think he might have hit the point where he's like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Look at how serious Joe is. He's, like, soy raging out, and Steve-O's over here like, this is hilarious.
I'm not arguing with
There's men who have pretended to be women, gone into women's prison, had sex with women, and impregnated
He's so mad. Look at how much, like, he's drained. You know, like, let's do a quick comparison. I know that I've spent too long on this already, but let's do a quick comparison here. Joe Rogan 2020. I'm just curious. Oh my God. This might be from older than 2020, but not by much. Either way, it gets the point across. Like, look at how... Here, how do I want to do this? Let's do... Now, granted, some of it's the lighting, but, like, he just doesn't look like he gives a shit. 2020 was 6 years ago. He got older.
Sorry for the interruption. I just didn't expect Joe's ball to be so dysphoric. I'm just hoping Steve-O pushes back. From Caracal.
Thank you very much for the $5 reduce. Never be sorry for interrupting me with money. That's fine every time. Thank you. I'm sorry that you're experiencing dysphoria. This is just, I mean, millions upon millions of Americans are listening to this asshole talk, so we got to hear what he's saying. I do, at least. You don't, if you don't want to. But anyway, like, I don't know. Like, some people age very gracefully, but there's, like, it's the sunkenness in the eyes, maybe. I don't know. He used to look like Vin Diesel. I mean, he used to be kind of a stud, right? He just looks like he's given up. Conservatives claim feminists hate men, and then they keep on showing who truly thinks the lowest about men just without calling it that. Yeah, it's crazy. Also, from personal experience as a woman, I've talked about unisex bathrooms with a few men, and they were actually the ones who felt uncomfortable there, not me. Well, yeah, because, again, like, they're the ones who have been demonized this entire... I mean, this is a real problem that feminists try to tackle, is that men are, first of all, taught that, like, your job as a man is to dominate women, right? Like, that's kind of a, like, it may not be directly taught, but it's implicitly taught through culture, right? And then, you know, men get self-conscious about it. They're like, I don't want, like, men who are, like, sane and normal are like, well, I don't want to make her uncomfortable because I understand, like, subconsciously what's happening is you understand the statistics, right? And that they're there for a reason, and they know the statistics. You know that that woman knows, and so you're not trying to make that woman uncomfortable by being close to her or looking at her in any way. Like, you're just very stiff. Not in that way. No, don't be stiff in the unisex bathroom, but, like, you're as in, like, you're tensed up. Anyway, let's keep going.
There's men who have sexually assaulted women in prison that are pretending to be women with functional dicks.
I just thought, man, I heard.
Okay, but here's the thing: is they'd be doing it to men. they would be doing it to men, you know? They would. Like, you don't stop, if you don't stop it in men's prisons as well, I don't buy it.
What they had to say about, you know, politicians trying to put them in internment camps and, you know.
Who's doing that? What politicians are saying they should be put in internment camps?
I think that there was some kind of...
There might be one kook out there that's saying that to try to get attention. Right. There's no movement to try to put transgender people in internment camps.
I mean,
okay, what
conversion therapy? It's close.
Then I'll land on this.
Do you know who's killed more people than ICE this year? Trans shooters. Do you know the majority of...
Just a blatant lie. Just like actually a lie. I actually did the math on this. There are over 2 million trans people living in the United States. And under 25,000. So I'm being generous on the numbers here. Over 2 million for trans people, under 25,000 for ICE agents. So I'm rounding up for the ICE agents and down for the trans people. There's been one mass shooting, just one this year. Okay. I believe either 2 or 3 people were killed. I don't remember. On the ICE side of things, there are 2 shootings, 2 people killed in, 1 person killed in each of those shootings for a total of 2. And then at least 6 that we know of died in ICE custody. At least 6. So if we total up the numbers here, it sounds a lot like ICE is a bigger problem. By a lot. Like a whole lot. So this is just a blatant lie.
These high school shootings have been transgender people?
No, they have not.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No, they have not.
At the end of the day,
He's just lying.
We have to understand that.
I don't think we're going to get like a good response from Steve-O. I don't think that's what this video is.
Like, what is more important?
But I will say, just off rip, I think that Steve-O should have interrupted more. That's just me. I know that this isn't like his forte, but if I had critiques for him, I think he's doing his best, and like this really isn't what he does, and I'm willing to be charitable for him. But if I have any critiques, I would just say, just call out his bullshit, man. You know how to do that. You know how to call out bullshit. I know it.
Person's feelings or the safety of all these women. And
right.
The safety of all these women is much more important.
Yep.
Than the safety of trans women.
Be kind to people, but also...
One trans woman is threatening the safety of all those other cis women. I don't buy it.
Oh, you got to have rules. There's a reason why there's a woman's room and a men's room. It's because some men are creeps. And if you allow those creeps to just put on a dress...
No. The fact that we teach kids that, like, is crazy. Like, even in Harry Potter, I think it was a filler. No, it was in the book. It was just in the book. Where the boys tried to go up to the girls. Like, the girls can just go into the boys' dormitories anytime they want. But if the boys try to go into the girls' dormitories, the stairs turn into a slide. These are, like, 10-year-old kids we're talking about. Like, I had no interest in like, girls' clothes or anything like that. Like, or snooping through their shit. Like, that's crazy. And I don't think most boys have that. Like, there are some curiosity, sure, and they do stupid things sometimes, but so do girls. Like they can both equally do stupid things. And I think we need to stop teaching our young men that they are inherently a threat to women. I think that's a huge part of the problem.
Yes. Well, and again, I'm not saying all trans people are like this at all, but...
And then calling trans women men and saying that, like, they're part of the problem as well.
You can't have that loophole. You can't. Let's like you can't have an open border. Doesn't mean that all immigrants are murderers, and you don't think that either, right? But don't. Some people that sneak across the border, if you don't check, are going to be murderers. It's just a fact.
Okay, it's also just a fact that statistically speaking, there are more United States citizens who murder per capita by a lot than there are immigrants who murder in the United States. That's a fact. You can look that up. Okay. That's the data that we have right now. And so if you really want to make sure that our country is safe, what you ought to do, right, Joe Rogan, is keep the immigrants and then deport everybody else. Send all the United States citizens to Mexico instead. You know, all the white men who are like the biggest threat, honestly. You know, like, I'm just saying, like, white Christian men, you know, they're the ones who tend to be doing all the bad shit.
Yeah.
So you have to have a closed border to check, and you have to have a gender border too.
Yeah, well, God damn it.
Don't taint Mexico with them. The great replacement theory, except for Mexico. We go and replace all of them.
Take away from my experience that I was related.
I guess that's just kind of imperialism, isn't it? That's the crazy thing, is as soon as I said that, I was like, oh wait, that would just literally be what we already did to the United States. like that's why Mexico exists the way it does, because we did that. Like, I mean, I'm just rehashing history. They're just always afraid of other minorities doing the thing that we already did to them.
And my only takeaway from my experience that I was relating to you is that it made me feel
He's like back to the basics. I'm not sure. I think that he could have gone a lot harder, but I do also think on the other side, there's a give and take to this. I think on the other side of this,
Wealth,
wait for it.
fame, power.
Is it too late to replace the dumb gorilla with Joe Rogan, a podcaster who does actual research and thinks, with Fabio-level hair?
Oh my gosh. Thank you very much for the 5 tier 1 gifted sub, Saki Tanuki. I do think that this strategy does have its perks. Like, Steve-O is very clearly the calm one here. He's very clearly the one that's keeping a cool head and is just like trying to relate, you know, a worthwhile experience to bring up with a trans person and just explain how it made him more empathetic and a better person. And then Joe Rogan's like, well, what about the trans people in the jails? They're people. Oh, the thing about it, the men with penises in the bathroom. And it's like, that's disgusting. Like, nobody came here for that shit, man. Like, Steve-O's clearly the one who's like keeping his head. And I do like that. I would say like 7 out of 10. I think that he could have pushed back a lot harder.
Passionate.
Well, that's
And
nice.
I want to be a good.
That's good.
But this strategy does work.
Reason would be it's fucking stupid to get a boob job. Don't do it. No one's
And also, I don't like that he keeps laughing at Joe Rogan and like egging him
gonna
on.
like you more.
6 out of 10.
Because you got a boob job
Right.
at 52.
I'm glad.
Don't.
I'm glad that.
How old are you now?
51.
Yeah, that's too old for a boob job.
Yeah.
Even if you're a girl.
Yeah, and Joe keeps interrupting. Like, he doesn't interrupt his other guests.
I'm
Stop. Unless
I'm
you
really,
just got divorced, you're like, I need some new dick. I gotta go.
I'm really glad that
Ah.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
If you were here with a boob, with 2 giant boobs, I'd be like,
Okay, so Steve-O was like going to do a boob job. I actually believe he would do that just because he's insane. Like, I guess like there are men out there who like cis or even trans men who are chill with having like a rack, you know? Oh my goodness.
Joe Rogan is a silly Billy. His podcast is a poison on society. I'm happy there's steamers like you fighting the good fight.
Steamers.
I protest a lot these days, and watching you destroy Matt Walsh years ago has been a big inspiration.
Thank you very much for $20. That is very kind of you, silly spirit. Appreciate you. I am glad that you brought up the Matt Walsh thing again. I will brag about that any day of the week. I think that I did a very good job there. 6'7", shut up.
I don't know what to say to this guy.
Okay, that was it. I think that also covered the other one that I was going to cover.
You have a thing called autogynephilia.
Yeah, we already covered that. Okay, so that gave us a good insight into what they talked about there. Obviously, Joe Rogan's full of shit. I think that Steve-O could have pushed back harder and not laughed at Joe Rogan so much. But, you know, he's not a guy who does what I do, so I can't be that hard on him. 6.5 out of 10 for me. I'm glad that he stayed chill. I'm glad that he stuck to the main message, which was I had this wholesome experience with a trans person and it made me more empathetic. I'm glad for people like Steve-O. I think that they're just normal, well-to-do people who are trying to coexist with trans people. And Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan, like, he knows that he's lying. He has to know that he's lying. There's no way. Hi, thanks so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you all know that I love and appreciate everybody in my community, whether you can support me financially or just by liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. It helps way more than you know. That being said, I do want to give a very special thanks to my tier 4 subs, which would be Space Timid and Hot Take Andy. And thanks so much to my monetary subscribers from any of the tiered subs or anybody who gives me money in any form, including going to my Patreon shop, donating money to me directly. It all helps way more than you know. If you do decide to help me financially, you can get some really cool perks like early access to content, exclusive access to censored videos, also some really cool badges next to your name. Even if you can't afford a monetary subscription, just watching, sharing, and commenting on my content helps way more than you know. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video.